Now we're going to look at rearranging formulas. So when you solve a formula, the order of operations you learned way back when, something called bedmass. So bedmass means deal with the brackets first, then the exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. But when we rearrange formulas, you do bedmass in the reverse order. That means deal with the adding, subtracting first, then the multiplication, division, then the exponents, then the brackets. So when we rearrange, you're doing everything backwards. So I want to try a couple examples. So the very first example would be easy formula, area of a rectangle, which is length times width. If we wanted to get the length all alone, okay, we want to solve this formula for length. Well, you have to look at, well, what's with the length? We're going length times width. In rearranging, I already said, means do everything backwards. So the opposite of multiplying by the width would be to divide by the width. So divide, divide. The widths disappear because W divided by W is just 1. And we're left with A over W is equal to the length. Now, this answer is totally right and correct. However, when we write out formulas, we always want whatever we're solving for on the left side. So we're going to take it one more step and say L is equal to A over W. And we're done. In our second example of rearranging formulas, we have this formula here, was just equation of a line. So y equals mx plus b. And this time, I want to get the m all alone. So we have two things we can move. We have the multiplying by the x and the adding the b. So let's go back to our bedmass. Our bedmass means, okay, start with the adding and subtracting. So let's do that. So the b is being added to the m. So we're going to get rid of the b first. And again, rearranging means you have to do the opposite or everything backwards. So to make the b disappear, we're going to do the opposite, adding b, which is subtract the b. So we're going to go minus b minus b. B minus b is actually 0. It disappeared, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm left with y minus b is equal to mx. Next, to get the m all by itself, I have multiplied by x. Well, the opposite of multiplying by x would be to divide by x. And then the x's disappear, and we're left with y minus b over x is equal to m. And if you leave your answer like this, it's totally fine, but the better way is to write the m on the left side. So I have m is equal to y minus b over x, and we're done. In our third example, when we rearrange formulas, we have area of a circle. Area is equal to pi r squared. And we're trying to get r all by itself. Well, when I look at the formula, I'm multiplying the pi and I'm squaring the r. So we have to look at our bedmass and see, well, what am I going to deal with first? Well, there's no adding, subtracting. There is definitely multiplying, and there's exponent. But we're going to start at the right and move over. So I'm going to deal with this multiplication division first. So right now, the pi is being multiplied by the r. The opposite of multiplying is divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. Pi divided by pi gives us 1, which disappears because 1r squared is the same as r squared. Write that out. So we have a over pi is equal to r squared. Now, the next step is I want the opposite of squaring by r. The opposite of squaring by r is to take the square root of both sides. So if I take the square root of this side and the square root of this side, well, when I take the square root of this, it just becomes r. And then I still have the square root of a over pi. And again, I want to write the r on the left side. So it'll be r is equal to the square root of a over pi. That's it.